Honey gets terminated as lawsuits proceed. Guys, this is one of the most massive controversies from last year regarding Honey, a company that every YouTuber sponsored, including Mr. Beast and other huge YouTubers. Today, this guy, after not posting for 7 months, is back with an update. Lock in.
This is a cease and desist letter sent to me by PayPal's lawyers in December of last year. In it, PayPal warned that my investigation was, quote, defamatory and described Honey's business practices as being, quote, legal and responsible. Well, just weeks after publishing that investigation, 3 of PayPal's largest affiliate network partners announced punitive actions against the company, with one of them, Rakuten, terminating the relationship with Honey entirely, resulting in their removal from over 2,000 online stores, including Walmart, Lego, Sephora, Newegg, Uniqlo, and Samsung, to name a few. Likely
If you guys don't know about the drama, basically Honey was this extension that every YouTuber was pretty much promoting, and it was sponsoring pretty much everyone, right? And it would always give you deals. Its whole premise was when you buy something, it would automatically apply coupons at the checkout. And I always thought it was weird, like how do they actually make their money, right? When I used to use it. It turns out what they was doing was like, if you don't know what affiliate links are, basically if someone promotes something, they can have like a link in their description. And if you click on that link, it has a special code in that link that lets the person that they're buying from like know who sent that person to the website. So basically they might get a little commission. So basically if a YouTuber promotes like a product, like a sponsor, and they have a special link, an affiliate link, they will get a little bit of money back if the person buys something. What Honey was doing without telling anyone was secretly, when it would automatically at checkout run, change the affiliate link from that person that was supposed to get the money to their business instead, to Honey. So a Honey would get the commission even though they had no say or like they had no influence in the person finding that product and wanting to buy it.
Costing Honey millions of dollars in lost affiliate revenue. Ouch. As a result, PayPal issued a statement of regret a few days later, claiming they had no idea they were in possession of code responsible for poaching affiliate commissions from content creators, insisting they only discovered the code after my reporting exposed it. The same reporting they had just claimed was defamatory. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, not only is PayPal's claim that they had no idea a provable lie, but the code in question was formally included as evidence against them in the ongoing federal class action lawsuit. A lawsuit they desperately tried to have thrown out. Twice. But unfortunately for PayPal, the federal judge handling the case recently denied their motion to dismiss.
Good.
Whether PayPal likes it or not, this lawsuit is moving forward. So in this video, I'll be walking you through everything that's been happening behind the scenes. The lawsuits, network terminations, CEOs attacking my credibility while profiting from Honey, hit pieces from industry publications who also have ties with PayPal. Turns out, I've pissed off an entire industry.
Yeah.
So,
bro, that's what happens when you get in the way of millions, tens of millions of dollars of free money. This was just basically free money just coming into their pockets every month. If you get in the way of the money trail, you're going to make enemies quick, bro. And this guy found out.
Get into it. One of the most interesting things to witness after releasing part 1 of my Honey series was the reaction from the affiliate industry, particularly those who stood to gain the most from Honey's business model. For example, Adam Ross, the CEO of Awin, one of Honey's largest affiliate network partners, wrote a LinkedIn post basically insinuating that my video was sensationalist clickbait. Then there were guys like Brooke Schaff, the founder of a company that supplies monetizable coupon codes to Honey. He published an entire blog post calling my video a hit job, declaring that Honey did nothing wrong and that I was, quote, 100% wrong. And there were even publications that took aim at my work with headlines like, "What Mega Lag Got Wrong?" who I later found out also had ties to Honey. Point is, the ones complaining the loudest all turned out to have skin in the game. But then I revealed the one thing they couldn't spin. Honey wasn't just stealing commissions, they had intentionally built an entire system around hiding that behavior from the industry. The system was designed to profile who you were as a user. If you look like a regular shopper, Honey ignored stand-down rules and allowed influencer commissions to be diverted into their own pockets. But if you look like someone from within the industry, Honey suddenly played by the rules to avoid getting caught. They effectively engineered a defeat device, and with this revelation, the industry had no choice but to respond appropriately.
That's just the coffin. That's just a nail in the coffin. Like, you can't come back from that. You can't spin that. You can try to spin it. It's not going to work.
Including the ones who profit from Honey's business model. And the first to act was Rakuten, an affiliate network that connected Honey with over 2,000 online stores. Just weeks after exposing PayPal's defeat device, Rakuten terminated their relationship with Honey entirely and sent the following notice to their clients. We are writing to let you know that publisher Honey has been terminated from the Rakuten advertising network. Therefore, this publisher has been removed from your affiliate program, effective immediately. Boom. Just like that, Honey lost access to over 2,000 online stores, many of which were very big brand names.
Amazing.
That is a huge hit for PayPal.
But guys, it's insane how you can know something is happening for so long and just profit off it and not have any cares. And then as soon as it gets found out, you can just cut ties and you're off the hook. Like, if these guys aren't included in a class action, it's just crazy, because it's like knowing a bank robbery is going to happen and like them giving you a little bit of money for not telling people, or like you're just getting a little bit of a cut from something you know is happening that is wrong. And then when they get arrested, you're like, oh, I cut ties with them. Like, I didn't help them at all. I didn't take any money from them at all. Like, it's not right, bro. Like, anyone who profited from this and knew about it should get punishment. Like, I think that's just a fair thing to say. But bro, with businesses like this and so much money, there's going to be so slimy. They can use all the lawyers they can get their hands on, and it's just going to be a huge paper trail, and it's going to take months, years, probably more than years. Probably it's already been a year already and nothing's even really happened, right?
It also sucks for Rakuten, because keep in mind, affiliate networks like Rakuten are the organizations who run this industry. They set the rules, they enforce compliance, and they control the flow of sales. So when something as damning as this is brought to light, it's terrible PR for them. The fact that a YouTuber with zero experience in security research uncovered blatant fraud they had missed for years, it looks bad. That said, while networks like Rakuten need to be seen enforcing the rules, they also earn a significant amount of money from publishers like Honey. You've probably heard the saying, money doesn't grow on trees, right? Well, in the affiliate industry, it kinda does, and for networks like Rakuten, Honey is one of the larger trees in their orchard. But wait, doesn't Rakuten have its own coupon cashback extension? Yes, Rakuten Rewards is technically a competing extension, ironically one they too are being sued over.
Good.
But that's a completely separate side of their business. As a network, Rakuten still earns money every time Honey claimed commission for a sale. So trust me, they did not want to lose that partnership, yet they cut them loose anyways. So initially I thought, damn, well done Rakuten, the first network to take action against PayPal, even when it was detrimental to their business. But that all changed after some internal emails between PayPal and Rakuten were brought to light through discovery in the ongoing class action lawsuit. According to court filings, internal emails between Rakuten and PayPal show Honey has repeatedly violated Rakuten's stand-down policies from as early as July 2020 and continuing even after the filing of the complaints in this action through at least May 2025. Yikes! Not only does that look bad for PayPal, but it also looks terrible for Rakuten. They knew Honey was violating their stand-down policies for years, and the entire time, they kept Honey on the network anyways. Now, some of those emails made it onto the public record, and after reading through them, the dynamic is honestly insane. In this one email chain, Rakuten flags a stand-down violation to PayPal, and while PayPal initially responds, they then start ignoring Rakuten's emails, forcing them to repeatedly chase PayPal for an answer. This goes on for weeks, and when PayPal
Dude, how can this is not between like a customer and a company. This is two companies talking to each other that are exchanging thousands, tens of thousands, $100,000, millions of dollars between each other, and they're getting ghosted. I can't believe that's happening between two companies of this size, bro. And it just shows you, like, they knew what was happening. These two knew what was happening, man. They 100% knew what was happening. And dude, I feel like if a company you're talking to, like you're working with a partner company, right? And they're ignoring your emails, you immediately raise that to your bosses, bro, and then action has to happen. It's just, there was so much, guys, this is what happens. Like, money corrupts, right? There is so much money flowing between these two guys. They let stuff slide that smaller businesses with not as much cash flow, they would instantly get rid of. Money corrupts. Like, this wouldn't happen with anyone else.
Finally addresses the violation, they tell Rakuten that their stand-down policies are, quote, overreach. The fact that PayPal feels confident telling a network that their rules suck really speaks to who actually runs this industry. After seeing those emails, Rakuten's termination of Honey looks a whole lot less like them taking a principled stand, and a whole lot more like them pretending to act tough on compliance, knowing those emails would hit the public record. I did reach out to Rakuten for comment, but didn't hear back from them. But regardless of Rakuten's motives, this termination was still a disaster for PayPal. It got the entire affiliate world talking, and just a few days later, PayPal quietly deactivated their defeat device and broke their silence. They apologized to the industry, if you can even call it that, via an exclusive statement to Hello Partner, the same publication that wrote the "What Mega Lag Got Wrong" article. Lol. On Monday morning, Rakuten Advertising shared an email with partners notifying them that PayPal's Honey browser extension had been terminated from the network and removed from existing affiliate programs. The dispute follows accusations from industry commentators. Okay, that's hilarious. They won't even cite me by name anymore. When I'm wrong, I'm Megalak. When I'm right, I'm just a industry commentator. Classic. The dispute follows accusations from industry commentators and professionals that PayPal Honey uses a defeat device to detect user type and selectively bypass stand-down policy. Rakuten Advertising declined to comment on the move. I wonder why. PayPal has now shared an exclusive response with Hello Partner. PayPal and Rakuten are long-standing partners. We are aware of the actions taken regarding PayPal and are working with them on a resolution.
Yeah, you're working on them by not responding to each other's emails.
The code causing this behavior has been identified and no longer has an impact. The code was implemented prior to PayPal's acquisition and appears to affect less than 0.1% of Honey's traffic. Now, PayPal claiming the defeat device only affects 0.1% of Honey's traffic is, in my opinion, incredibly misleading without additional context. As I highlighted in my last video, Honey stored the code for this defeat device in the cloud, meaning they could alter how strict the system was at any time without ever updating their extension on Chrome. A single rule alteration could change how many people Honey targeted, and that's exactly what happened. In 2023, Honey's defeat device would ignore stand-on rules for virtually everyone, unless they found cookies on your computer, signaling that you had visited an affiliate network's website. Clearly a tiny percentage of their users. But sometime between then and the release of my first video, PayPal quietly altered the rules, requiring users have at least 65,000 cashback points before they would break the rules. They went from targeting a very large portion of their users to a much narrower set with one quiet update. So when PayPal says 0.1%, was that under their latest rules or the old ones? I did ask PayPal for clarification, but unfortunately, they're not interested in answering my questions anymore. Instead, they offered me a corporate slop statement, which I'll include at the end of this video. Now, this next statement is really interesting.
Guaranteed it's a nothing burger. Like, whenever you see a statement from a company, it's went through every lawyer they have, and the CEOs went over it. They've changed it billions of times so that nothing in it can be used in the court of law. Nothing in it's going to be new. Nothing in it is going to admit anything new. It's literally, anytime you see a statement, it's a nothing burger.
Spokesperson said that the code was only recently discovered by PayPal, and upon being made aware of it, the company has deactivated. That is patently false. Yes, the defeat device was developed in 2017 under the original founder's leadership. Then PayPal inherited it when they acquired Honey in 2020. However, at the time, the defeat device was encrypted, scrambled so that even if someone found it, they couldn't read it. Then, in 2021, under PayPal's ownership, the entire system was rebuilt. The rules were restructured into a completely new format and stored in plain text on PayPal servers. That's not a minor tweak, that's a fundamental redesign. PayPal's developers had to build that from the ground up. You can't rebuild a system, continue adjusting its rules year after year, then claim you had no idea it existed. PayPal claiming ignorance here is fucking wild. The way I see it, it's just a straight up lie. And let's not forget, I alerted PayPal to the defeat device in my request to comment sent to them on December 18th. But rather than immediately deactivating it, PayPal labeled my accusations as not accurate and ignoring basic facts, then had their lawyers threaten to sue me.
Classic large business bullying smaller creators. Can I just say something though? I'm a software engineer, right? I don't work as a software engineer right now, but I have worked as a software engineer in the past, and I have a computer science degree pretty much because I'm still in university right now. But when the software engineers don't build something unless the stakeholders, as in like higher ups, want something built, right? So if they're changing that previous build into the current build where everything is visible, it would have went through cybersecurity to make sure like they can show what they have to show. It would have went through all the software engineers building it. It would have been designed by it went through marketing. It would have went through everything. It would have went through literally everyone in the company, especially the higher ups. Like no one lower in the company is going to make this decision. Like CTO minimum for a full rebuild, like which is what they did. They knew this code inside and out, and they would have they can't play dumb. Like they can because you won't have any solid proof that they did know about it. But I'm just saying, as a software engineer, they would have known, and they're playing dumb because you can't prove that they knew about it. But they actually can because he said he alerted them on email. So that's what catches them out because they do technically know now. In a court of law, they would technically know.
Only deactivated the code on January 13th, almost a full month later. The article ends with a statement from a PayPal executive stating, "We regret the impact this situation has had on our partners and look forward to working together for the betterment of the entire industry." Now, you may have noticed this article isn't exactly dripping with criticism against PayPal, and there's a very good reason for that. You see, when I first saw the What Mega Lag Got Wrong article, I initially brushed it off as a publication trying to be contrarian for clicks. But then they published another article, this time platforming a post from Honey co-founder Ryan Hudson, who attempted to write off my entire investigation as a conspiratorial hit piece. Both articles were written by the same journalist, Sol Wilkinson, and for neither article did Sol offer me the right to respond, yet he had no problem doing that for PayPal. So I'm thinking to myself, man, these guys at Hello Partner sure have a raging boner for Honey. This led to me digging into their company, and surprise, surprise, Honey was a premier sponsor of their flagship conference.
Wow.
Probably should have disclosed that conflict of
What a surprise, guys. Who would have guessed?
interest to their paying subscribers. But here's where it gets even more hilarious. Sol, the journalist, actually emailed this article to me explaining that Hello Partner is, quote, Switzerland when it comes to industry disputes, which is why they didn't offer any opinions on PayPal getting booted from Rakuten. That's right, the guy who had no problem criticizing my work is now claiming he's Switzerland. You can't make this shit up. And get this, I offered Sol an exclusive statement to include in his article addressing the claims made by PayPal, something most journalists would jump at. And of course, it was never included. All things considered, pretty shocking behavior from a publication that lists inclusive and unbiased as one of its core values.
This is what I'm saying, like, you can't trust any journalism unless you know where all of their money is coming from and all of their partnerships. That's why I really respect like YouTube journalists, especially because you know where their revenue is coming from. YouTube, right? It's coming from YouTube, which means they're probably going to go for like sensationalism and like more public or viral stories, right? But you're still getting mostly for the most part compared to these big companies which have hundreds of sponsors and hundreds of like they have so much red tape they around every story they have to do to not offend any of their sponsors, right? You can't really trust them. You really can't, unless they're independent and they get donations from like the public. But at the same point, then they have not as many resources as the large ones that are getting millions of dollars from these sponsors. So it's a losing battle. That's why independent journalism, especially YouTube journalists, are really great to listen to compared to the bigger ones, in my opinion.
Moving on. Shortly following Rakuten's termination, the situation for PayPal only got worse. The CEO of Impact, another major affiliate network, announced they too were taking action against Honey. Following a thorough investigation, Impact has determined that Honey is out of compliance with our platform policies and has been removed from the Impact Discovery marketplace. We've also temporarily suspended their account while we confirm they have made the necessary changes to comply with our terms and conditions. Now, this sounds a lot worse than it really is. They basically just pulled Honey from their marketplace, meaning new merchants can't discover or partner with Honey. Online stores already partnered with Honey through Impact will remain unaffected. Still sucks for PayPal, obviously, this limits their ability to grow, but that's about it. The next network to take action was Awin, and this one mattered the most because Awin is by far PayPal's biggest affiliate network partner, giving Honey access to over 16,000 merchants. The response came straight from their CEO, Adam Ross, the same guy who initially brushed off my entire investigation as clickbait. Awin Group is providing an update on its ongoing investigation into Honey's browser extension practices following recent public scrutiny within the affiliate marketing industry. As soon as Awin Group became aware of the allegations raised publicly, we opened a formal internal investigation into the activity in question. The investigation has since confirmed breaches of our publisher policies. Honey has confirmed they regret the impact the situation has had and agreed they will work with us to remediate that impact. In line with our standard enforcement processes, Awin Group immediately took protective actions. These included suspending payments and access to new advertiser programs. So Awin cut.
Oh wow, let's just suspend the extra couple merchants we get every so often. Let's not worry about the 16,000 merchants that are selling thousands of products probably daily that they're making still money on from Honey. Guys, they have no excuse now. They know what's going on. They know what's happening. They know how Honey makes their money. Even though I'm telling you right now, these companies, you think they're going to give access to 16,000 merchants without knowing where Honey gets their money from? Do you think these people are all dumb? They scour inside and out before they would give any access at all. They knew everything, allegedly, before this all happened. Before Honey scandal came to light, they knew this shit. You can see that they knew it and were okay with it, because even after all of this big scandal and trying to bury it before it became as big as it did become, they still are allowing Honey to use their current merchants, and they're just virtue signaling by saying, oh, we won't give them any access to new merchants. These guys already, I'm telling you, they already have 16,000 merchants. They already have majority of the merchants under Honey that Honey is already being applied to. That probably makes up over 95% of their sales compared to like the new merchants coming in. I want to know how many new merchants are coming in. It's probably such a small fraction because they already have all of the big dogs as one of their merchants. Like the new ones coming in, they have 16,000. They've been doing this for years. 16,000 over years. That's like a couple a day of new merchants that they're adding on. Like that's nothing. They already have 16,000.
Honey off from new partnerships the same way Impact did, but on top of that, they also suspended Honey's payments and put them on a remediation plan. This plan involves PayPal funding certain initiatives like giving networks access to their source code and implementing policies for online stores to manage and remove unauthorized coupon codes. Now, I will give credit where it's due. These three networks at least did something, which is more than we can say for these other networks who stayed silent and, as far as I can tell, did absolutely nothing. The consequences of these actions are significant. This is terrible PR for PayPal, it's costing them real money, and it will almost certainly be used against them in the ongoing litigation.
100%. But guys, what good PR did PayPal even have before this? Let's be honest. Guys, I don't think I know a single person that genuinely likes PayPal. My experience with PayPal has been horrible. They take forever to get back to you. Their policies don't even side with the correct person that they're meant to side with half the time. They feel completely biased, and they take money like per transaction where they're supposed to give you safety, right? And then I feel like a lot of the times you hear the stories where they never even held up their side of the bargain of making sure the people that got scammed got their money back, or people that got falsely like companies that got products bought with PayPal and got refunded, they just sided with the fucking customer straight away. And then the business is like small businesses, especially, are out of thousands of dollars and they don't have their money anymore because PayPal just decided to go with them, even though the evidence didn't support them at all. Plus, also, I feel like I hear so many stories of PayPal for no reason whatsoever suspending accounts, taking all of the money that's in the account and not letting the original person get their money back. No matter what. Like, I've heard so many stories where there's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in PayPal accounts they can never access again. And they don't give you a good reason why. They just take that money and you're stuck with the thousands of dollars in losses.
However, the fact that every single one of these networks has allowed Honey to continue operating on their platform is genuinely fucking insane. Even Rakuten, the one network that terminated Honey, has since quietly allowed them back onto their platform. And frankly, I'm not surprised. Look, these punitive measures obviously suck for PayPal, but when you consider the seriousness of what they did, it's nothing more than a slap on the wrist. And that sets a terrible precedent for the entire industry.
Yep.
Because every bad actor just watched a Fortune 500 company break the rules, build a system to cover it up, got caught, yet was ultimately allowed to continue doing business.
Yeah.
Good luck enforcing the rules after that.
You know what? I think this is because people's attention spans these days, and they have been for a while, are completely cooked. And, you know, you see this with the EPEEN files, right? Can't say it because maybe YouTube's listening. Those things, you don't really hear about them anymore. The biggest thing ever. We never received all of them. And so many bad things happened that were never revealed. Government didn't comply with their law orders to release everything. Officials couldn't access the redacted shit, and they got away with it. No one even cares about it anymore because something new happens, and then people forget. If you don't hear something constantly and you're hearing new things constantly, your mind just by nature is just going to forget the old things. This is what happens. This guy hasn't posted in 7 months. It all died down. But yeah, YouTubers remember because YouTubers remember not to take Honey as a sponsor because this was a huge scandal, right? They're not going to forget something as big as this because it affects their lives daily, right? But a customer who maybe listened to one of those sponsors from the YouTubers or whatever, or just downloaded Honey, most people, they're not going to remove Honey. Maybe there was a lot of people that uninstalled Honey when the big controversy was happening, but a lot of people, you know, even though it has millions of views on his videos, that's nothing. Like Honey is installed, I think, hundreds of millions of times. That's still on so many browsers and it's still making them money. And a lot of people just don't even know about this whole controversy at all. So, and since nothing has happened from this guy for 7 months, he hasn't uploaded for 7 months, it's just all died down. News hasn't been on about it. Honey is just business as usual. And you can see by the amount of merchants that still allow Honey and haven't done anything because they know this stuff is just going to get shrugged under the rug because the customers, realistically, the customers aren't affected by this. It's the people that are affiliates that are getting scammed out of the money.
Doing business. Good luck enforcing the rules after that. Now, regardless of how these networks have handled this, the fallout from the scandal has still hit Honey hard, and that's mostly thanks to you guys. So I was curious to see if there were any measurable insights into how much damage has been done. Well, thanks to data compiled by my buddy Yelta, we can actually put some numbers to it, and it's brutal. On top of losing 7 million users, Honey has also lost over 7,000 merchant partners, even after being allowed back onto Rakuten's network. We can see that in December 2024, Honey was partnered with roughly 35,000 online stores, and that number has since fallen to just over 28,000. That's a significant loss of business. And keep in mind, some merchant partners are more valuable to PayPal than others. For example,
but let's see their numbers in 5 years from now.
One of those lost partnerships was Apple, who was Honey's largest partner in terms of monetizable traffic. Here's a crazy statistic. Apple alone generated more shopping traffic than Honey's bottom 27,000 partnered stores combined. And Apple wasn't the only big brand to jump ship. There's a ton of them. So yeah, that's gotta sting. Honey's database of coupons has taken a huge hit too. As of December last year, Honey had 90,000 coupons, but is now down to about 50,000. And there's a very good reason for that loss of 40,000 coupons. One of the issues I highlighted in the series was Honey quietly harvesting coupon codes from users at checkout without their knowledge or consent. As a result, private employee discounts, friends and family codes, and even military veteran discounts were ending up on Honey for anyone to use. Well, the vast majority of codes recently removed were user source coupons, going from 29,000 down to just 3,000. So it appears as though the networks have finally cracked down on this, which is a huge win for the small businesses who were affected by this behavior. But it's not all good news. Of the 50,000 coupons Honey still has, at least 10,000 are still known to be expired. And PayPal is still applying those codes at checkout, fully aware that they're expired. I've confirmed this through multiple tests, as well as reviewing Honey's source code. Now keep in mind, Honey was previously claiming commissions on sales, even when they couldn't find you a working coupon. And around the time I exposed this issue, PayPal had around 14,000 stores with no valid coupons and zero cashback to offer. So this wasn't some random edge case scenario as some people have speculated. No, PayPal was earning legit money while wasting your time with expired codes. Google did try to put an end to this behavior in 2025 by updating their Chrome Store policies. This enforcement barred extensions like Honey from claiming commissions unless they actually provided users with some form of benefit. Sweet, problem solved, right? Well, not quite. Honey found
That's quite vague, no? Direct benefit? Is it labeled? It's probably labeled more like and goes more in depth in the actual like description of the policies, but from that reading that just sounds like they could flash a funny video on the screen and say, oh, we made them laugh, which made them happy and they bought something, and then because of that we're going to claim some commission. Fuck you.
Simple but clever workaround. They just quietly activated cashback across virtually all of their partnered stores. That might sound like a win for consumers, and technically it is, but for the majority of those stores, Honey is only offering 0.1 to 1% cashback. And based on my own testing, Honey has only ever given me the minimum of the advertised range. And based on the latest captured data, Honey offers this dog shit rate for almost 70% of their cashback active merchants. Point is, Honey still benefits from enticing you with an expired coupon because when it inevitably fails, they default to cashback, allowing them to cash in on the sale while giving you pennies on the dollar. But hey, on the bright side, at least PayPal aren't poaching affiliate commissions nearly as often as they once were. Speaking of which, let's discuss the ongoing class action lawsuits because there have been some really significant developments there. As most of you already know, PayPal's behavior caught the attention of a ton of different law firms. One of the first to file was YouTuber and attorney Legal Eagle, who filed a class action against PayPal Honey on behalf of content creators. After he filed, around 20 other law firms filed similar complaints across different states. Now,
you know what I want to say though real quick? All of these huge YouTubers that used Honey, like, I'm sure they made absolute bank, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like the bigger ones especially, like Mr. Beast and all that, per sponsorship with Honey. But I wonder, like, deadass, the long-term damage it's caused. Because imagine they had affiliate links for sponsors. Because, like, as a YouTuber, right, if you get sponsors and you have a link in the description, you get a direct cashback if, for most of the time, right? It, like, depends on the sponsorship, obviously. You get a direct cashback if users use your link in the bio. Imagine they sponsor Honey, people download Honey, users go in future sponsored videos from that same creator, they click on that link, Honey takes the cash that would have went to Mr. Beast and takes it for themselves. I know we're never going to see these numbers probably, but like, I really want to see if some creators deadass lost money from using Honey as a sponsorship and took the bad PR as well from like encouraging people to use Honey.
We've got that many law firms suing over the same thing, the courts don't want to handle them all separately. That's a huge waste of valuable court resources. So the cases get consolidated into one big class action, and the assigned judge selects a small group of law firms to lead the case. But that's just the creator lawsuit. Most people don't realize that on top of that, there are two additional class actions against PayPal over Honey. One brought on behalf of consumers in the United States, and another on behalf of consumers in the United Kingdom. Both are suing PayPal for allegedly misleading consumers with false marketing claims. I'm not going into detail on those particular lawsuits today, but here's where they currently stand. The case brought on behalf of consumers in the UK was recently dismissed. However, that decision is now being appealed in the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. As for the US consumer case, that's still ongoing. But let's talk about the creator lawsuit, which is being overseen by federal judge Beth Freeman in the Northern District of California. 3 competing law firms were selected to represent the plaintiffs, the content creators. Interestingly, Legal Eagle's firm wasn't one of the firms chosen. I guess being first to file doesn't automatically win you a seat at the table. But hey, shout out to Legal Eagle for taking the lead and bringing more attention to the story.
Surely, like, the huge law firms, like, have ties to like all of the big judges, right? Like, imagine, okay, they're gonna say no. I listen, I'm just talking, I'm laughing right now. I have no clue how this shit works. There's probably like stuff in place, right? But like, imagine, there's no way the big law firms don't have connections to all the fucking judges, right? And imagine you're a judge, you're not meant to do this, right? You probably have conflicts of interest. It actually, this all depends on how the firms are selected. But if you're the judge, right, you know, maybe you don't have a conflict of interest like shown for a law firm because it's like one random employee that's not too far up in the company, and you kind of see him every like, you kind of see him at events, and you like mutual friends and all that stuff. You're like, oh, you know what? I would give it to this firm instead of that one. But I'm LARPing right now. There's probably so many different things in there, but like I feel like human bias, even when it's not obvious, can play a huge role in these types of like cases. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways, once a case is consolidated, the defendant, PayPal, gets to assess the claims made against them, and almost always they file what's known as a motion to dismiss, which is them basically asking the judge to throw the case out entirely before it even moves forward to trial. Now, in November 2025, there was a hearing on that motion to dismiss, which I listened into live, and during those oral arguments, it was pretty clear that Judge Freeman wasn't entirely convinced that the content creators had demonstrated that PayPal actually violated any contracts. So, things weren't exactly off to a good start. But the judge laid out for the lawyers where she felt the complaint fell short. She also allowed discovery to begin, meaning both sides now had to start handing over documents and evidence. And a few weeks later, she issued her formal decision, effectively dismissing all claims but with leave to amend. This means that while PayPal got a temporary win on paper, the lawyers representing the content creators were allowed to go back, fix the issues the judge highlighted, and file an amended complaint. Regardless, it didn't take long for the usual suspects to take a premature victory lap. PayPal's lawyers, Hello Partner, and of course Ryan Hudson, who tweeted case dismissed despite not owning the company anymore. But little did they know, I had an ace up my sleeve. That of course being the discovery of Honey's defeat device, and I was fairly confident that once exposed, it would help the case significantly. And sure enough, after that video went live, the lawyers formally included it into the amended complaint. Now, I'll be honest, I was a little worried they wouldn't because they only had like 5 or 6 days after my video was published before their amended complaint was due. But they managed to pull it off. So, let's take a look. On page 65, we can see the following. PayPal devised several methods to ignore or circumvent stand-down protocols. PayPal designed Honey to surreptitiously avoid standing down at all when it detects the browser is likely being used by an actual consumer rather than a network tester or network auditor, i.e. users who are not there to shop but to test the browser extension for compliance with stand-down rules. Honey has created 4 basic criteria through which it determines whether or not—
I think, to correct me if I'm wrong, that's like, imagine you're a restaurant and there's a food inspector coming in, and you like stuffing rats into your food, usually for customers that look normal. And you always stuff rats into your food because it's cheaper than using like chicken or something, right? But then you see a food inspector coming in. He matches a food inspector's like image. He looks like a food inspector. He has a badge that shows him he's a food inspector. You're not going to shove a rat into your food. I'm pretty sure that's what that means by the stand down, only applying to people that look like they're there to test the browser extension rather than just being a normal user who has no like signs of being someone who is testing compliance of the browser extension.
Not to stand down. The lawyers then lay out the 4 criteria Honey tested: how old your account was, how many cashback points you had earned, if you're on a blacklisted website with special rules, and lastly, whether you had visited an affiliate network's website, which the complaint describes as arguably the most glaring reveal of PayPal's bad intent. Couldn't agree more. So there you have it, my big discovery now formally alleged in a federal complaint. Not gonna lie, after all the hard work I put into uncovering this, it feels good. And the inclusion of this evidence wasn't the only improvement. The lawyers did a great job strengthening the complaint across the board. Okay, but what effect has all of this had on the case? Well, on June 4th, there was a second hearing on PayPal's motion to dismiss. And this time, there was a completely different energy in the courtroom. The moment the hearing started, the judge made it clear that she believed this case could move forward. And when she invited PayPal's lead attorney to make his arguments, Richard Jacobson, the same lawyer who sent me the cease and desist, she joked that he had an uphill battle ahead of him and might not be winning the motion to dismiss.
Dude, you start a case and the judge is immediately saying that, just walk out the room, bro. You're not Saul Goodman. You're not gonna get past this, man.
Dismiss. A brutal thing to hear before you've even opened your mouth. And it only went downhill from there. Throughout the hearing, Judge Freeman constantly pushed back on PayPal's arguments, challenging them at every turn. To give you an example, at one point, PayPal tried arguing that affiliate IDs don't hold any real intrinsic value because they're just short strings of numbers and letters. The judge responded with something along the lines of, well, you could say the same thing about a dollar bill. To which Richard replied, quote, I don't know how to respond to that. And in my view, that kind of sums up PayPal's whole defense. On the other hand, as the lawyers representing the content creators presented their arguments, the judge mostly listened in without interrupting. It was pretty obvious which way she was leaning. So it seemed very likely during this hearing that the amended complaint had done its job. Now, it's important to understand that when a judge rules on a motion to dismiss, it's not as simple as deciding whether to throw out the entire case or keep it. The judge has to go through each individual claim and decide on the merits of each one separately. So for example, she might say, yes, I see a legitimate case for computer fraud, but no, I don't think you've proven unfair business practices. She could dismiss every claim besides one, and the lawsuit would still move forward on that one remaining claim, just under a much more limited scope. And after listening to the hearing, I thought the judge would allow most of the claims to survive, but not all of them. Well, on June 22nd, Judge Freeman issued her final ruling, and every single claim survived. That is
PayPal is cooked, man. Guys, if you have your money in PayPal, take it out right now, bro. They're gonna be strapped for cash, man. I don't know if I'll trust PayPal anymore, not gonna lie.
Huge win for content creators and a massive blow to PayPal. So, what happens now? Well, now that the case has survived, there's no reason for the lawyers to delay the discovery process. That means PayPal handing over documents, internal communications, and their employees possibly facing depositions under oath. And given that the defeat device was developed prior to PayPal's acquisition of Honey, it's entirely possible that the original founders, Ryan Hudson,
the guy who tweeted case dismissed, is gonna get fucking called in for a deposition. GG's.
And George Ruan get dragged into this process as well. And honestly, I think they should. A lot of this started while the company was under their leadership, and I think they need to be held accountable in some way. It's also worth noting that since the defeat device was exposed, Ryan, who was previously very vocal in trying to defend his former company, has now gone completely silent.
Hey, you know what? He might have cooked himself with all of those comments too. They're probably gonna be used in court. He was so confident. You know why he's silent now? Probably has lawyers telling him to shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's probably gonna be used in court if he does get caught in, obviously.
Pretty telling if you ask me. Now, with that all said, realistically, I think PayPal settles. I doubt PayPal wants their developers sitting in a deposition room explaining the defeat device under oath. And look, don't get me wrong, if a settlement gets content creators their money back, obviously I'm all for that. But a settlement also means that those depositions may never happen. No testimony about whose idea it was to create the system, no one on the record explaining why it existed for 7 years, and the full story of what went on behind closed doors at Honey, well, that potentially stays buried forever. But here's the thing, regardless of whether this case settles or goes to trial, there's something very important that I didn't get into in my last video, and it could make a huge difference for every affiliate who had their commission stolen. You see, from the very first day that Honey deployed the defeat device, they added code that documented every decision it made. So each time the system decided to violate stand-down rules, that decision was logged. Every time it decided to play safe, that too was logged, along with which rule triggered the decision. But more importantly, they also logged the original affiliate link the user clicked on, which often contains the original affiliate's ID, and in some cases, even the affiliate's name. Now, assuming PayPal has retained this data, and I think there's a very good chance they have, it means that somewhere on PayPal servers lies a detailed record of every single instance in which this defeat device enabled the theft of someone else's sale. And I'm fairly certain
That's insane. You know how I was talking about earlier, like, imagine the profit and loss of YouTubers who took Honey as a sponsor, but maybe they lost money in future sponsorships because people that downloaded Honey from their sponsorship would have had their affiliate money instead of going to that YouTuber back to Honey. We could actually calculate that now if these exist and if these are released to the public. Holy shit.
Will be demanding access to that data if they haven't already. And if it's as comprehensive as I believe it is, a lot of the stolen commissions could potentially be traced back to the original affiliate it was taken from. But here's a better idea. To the affiliate networks who are most certainly watching this video, if you truly care about protecting content affiliates, don't wait for the courts. Demand that telemetry data from PayPal and make them pay back any commissions that were stolen. It's the right thing to do.
We have coordinated closely with industry partners to evolve practices that promote accurate attribution and value for customers. Honey remains available to advertisers on major affiliate networks, including Rakuten, Awin, and Impact. Honey is free to use and continues to provide savings to millions of shoppers on their everyday purchases. Once again, statement, nothing burger, doesn't admit anything. Even more, it promotes their company even some more in their statement somehow. Yeah, W Video, man. Check out this guy in the description below. Very excited to see where this goes. I think PayPal is absolutely cooked. And yeah, W Video, subscribe.